things today. Pretty much, I just wanted to go into some discussion about a movie I watched the other day. My wife and kids. Pretty much, my kids watched the movie first. It was called a movie called Smallfoot. And what happens is that I actually got this really cool shirt on at Five Below, and it's called Hide and Seek, World Champion Undefeated. It talks about Bigfoot. And so I had that shirt, and I said to myself, I had to definitely put something together because what happens, we watched this movie called Smallfoot. And so what I did was I took the opportunity to take some of my tape arts, and what I did was that I took it, and one of my supporters sent me one of these hats, and so I said, let me go ahead and wear it because you know what, support my supporters. So what happens this one? This is my masking tape, and what I did, I took my masking tape art here, and what I did was I actually made a Yeti because if you know about the movie Smallfoot, what happens is that it's an actual movie. Well, it's a movie. It was an animated movie back in 2018, all before the pandemic, the great old pandemic. What happened, right? And what happens that we had a talked about the Yetis, and the Yetis, if you don't know what that is, and the Himalayas, you have they say there's mountain men that live up there, and the Yetis is one of the most popular of all the mountain men. So that's one of those things they have there. And the mountain men they talked about, like there was a movie I saw was about the the mummy, the mummy with the curse of the dragon emperor, right, or the tomb of the dragon emperor, and that's what I had. I see I was Jet Li, and he was the dragon emperor, the Chinese emperor, and what happened? There was the Yetis in that one. It was a pretty cool episode. I liked that a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. So we actually watched that. We didn't watch that recently, but what happened was this: the movie Smallfoot. It has Yeti, and so I'm going to just go ahead and talk with you about this movie as well as work on some more of my sculpts. I have a couple of sculptures I'll be working on. Last week I did this one here I did this one for the world to see, and it was like pretty much a making of this one. Then after that, I spray painted it, and I had my spray paint, which is really cool. I got a chance to actually do that, and this worked out really well. So this is actually a brachiosaur, right? A little brachiosaur dinosaur that I made. No one suggested anything, so I went ahead and made that. But the other one was someone suggested, one of my friends, Rachel. She suggested that I'd make a horseshoe crab, and so I made a horseshoe crab. So that's one of the things here. So I made a horseshoe crab. This one here is a brachiosaurus, and it's all covered in what they call gua. It's a Gouache, sorry, and it's like almost like guaichi, but it's pronounced gua, and it's the kind of it's transparent type thing where you can actually paint darker colors on top of lighter colors. And anyway, so this is actually the spray of acrylic spray on top of gua, which is really cool. I like that, and it's just pretty cool. It's still flexible and stuff, but I don't want to bake it because it's it's just kind of, it's really a nice little piece, and I might just bring this to work with me and just kind of either set it up and put it somewhere, or I might actually just do something different with it. And so I just pretty much got home from work, and I'm going to go ahead and work on some things here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and move my camera to the other side and have it all set up for you guys to see, right? So how we're going to do this is pretty much I'm just going to go ahead and reposition and set up and do that. So in the meantime, I'm going to leave this little creature here. And so anybody who joins me, I want to just let you guys see that. But pretty much just want to say that this is amazing. I always loved the whole thing with masking tape. I didn't show you the Bigfoot yet, but these are some of my other ones here. This is a I guess we'll call it the Gila monster, or Gila monster masking tape sculpting. This is covered in foam. This one is a masking tape one covered in gua, and this is the one in foam. What happens is that pretty much when we're showing you the one about, this is my shirt, the one of the Sasquatch, my shirt with the Sasquatch on it. So this is like, hi, how are you doing, Blake Hepburn? This is about Bigfoot. So today's conversation will be about Bigfoot. Let me show you what I have. I've actually made a Bigfoot, and this is one of my creatures I've made using the whole idea of watching the movie Smallfoot. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to you more about Smallfoot. But hi, good to see you. And so what happens is that we're going to talk about pretty much this creature here, and this creature here is in relationship to this creature here, which is the world champion hide and seek champion, Bigfoot. So Yeti is kind of like a Bigfoot, and so this is my second Yeti I'm actually made, but I'm gonna go ahead and work on some stuff there. So I'm gonna take you over to see this. So I'm gonna leave the Yeti here for a second while I get everything all set up. So just say hi to my Yeti. He's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, Blake. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my other situation here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the camera. How you doing? Don't forget to give me the thumbs up in the chat because it's really cool. Here's like a Yeti monster. that pretty much we're going to be working on a little bit more. But I'm going to be working on some of my commission pieces. So we're going to talk about this movie. Well, not this movie, but the movie that inspired me to make this creature, which is the movie called Smallfoot. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to block the camera for a second and flip it around. So here it goes. Hoo-ha! Yeah, it's my red thumb right there. All right, I'm going to flip it to the other side. All right, flip it to the other side, and here he goes. So here's the flipping. Here we have, like, this is my workshop area, and this is my kitchen. So what I have, you know, it's all set up. And what I'm gonna do is, I want to encourage you guys for, you know, feel free to talk to me today about anything in line as I talk to you as I work on stuff. And so what I want to do, I want you guys to talk to me, but also I want you guys to kind of, like, you know, give me suggestions to make stuff, because when I'm working on these things, I'm going to put some seal on them. I'm also going to talk to you about the Smallfoot movie, which I really like, by the way. If you ever get a chance to watch Smallfoot, that's a movie you should really watch it. If you've seen it already, you can chat along with me. But if you haven't, I might just spoil it for you. But I'll try my best not to spoil it for you, because some of the points are so good. You know, if you know about most movies they have in Hollywood, most movies in Hollywood always have some kind of a theme. You know, they always have some kind of theme where there's a human, you know, a human element, and then you also have a monster element. And so what happens in the case of a human element, you have it where you have, like in the movie, a human element where you have people, and you have a monster element. And usually what happens is that they either show the problem with the monster, or they show the problem with the humans, or the humans element, that things we all have trouble with, that they have to make sense of. What this movie did for me was that it caught me off guard. I didn't know it was going to be a movie where, you know, from the monster's perspective, encountering a human. I mean, the whole thing of the movie is called Smallfoot. They have a small human foot, right? They found a small human foot in the snow. But more importantly, they saw a small human. And what happens, he was just like overwhelmed by just the fact that this thing was, he didn't know what to do with it, because he was told that that there was no humans, the stones that they would protect them, like almost like their commandments, says, thank you so much. If you guys want to give me a like, feel free to give me a like in the thumbs up or a like in the chat. I appreciate that. So it happens that the humans have a situation where it's like, you know, from the Yeti point of view, their world was a, you know, floating island, and there was nothing below. They were floating in space, and it was very interesting. And it caught me off guard because it was such a powerful story. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk as I go through this, and I want to just kind of share with you some of the things that work on. So I'm going to show you the things. I'm going to continue the story in a little bit, but here you have, this is one of my gremlins I have. This week we had a situation with our car, and we had to fix it. And this gremlin, I'm going to give him a coat. I'm going to kind of go over him and make sure all the parts that I missed, I'm going to just kind of fill it up right there. Then I'm going to give him some seal to seal him over, so that way he's completed. The next one is also a gift. This is not a gift, but this is actually a commission piece. This one is here, pretty cool. A commission piece that people really like. This one here. So this one here, I have to just give him a coat so that he's sealed. Not to mention, I'm going to give him a little bit of glow in the dark. So we're going to do all that today. And then this one here, which is Jimba 2.0. You know, this is the second Jimba sculpture I've made, and what it is one of the fish monster chupacabra. So it's a chupacabra fish monster, and you have it where it's like it's a fish, but it's also a human fish, or a humanoid type fish, or, you know. So I call it chupacabras because the chupacabras they have in the woods are just kind of hideous and ugly. But the ones I like, I always call these chupacabra, and these all react to lights. So they have black light on it. So what I'm going to do, we're going to talk about this movie, and we're going to do these things as we're doing it. So you're going to walk with me as I'm doing some artwork, okay? So for the most part, though, let's go ahead and chat, shall we? So first and foremost, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it some red paint. And go through there. With the movie, regarding the movie, right, you have the scenario where this is my trusty dusty. I'll move this out of the way real quick. I don't have to get damaged. I'm going to put some blue paint on this Yeti. But first, I'm just going to go ahead and just put some red paint on this thing here. So I'm going to do that right here. This is I'm going to switch to a new piece of paper. Start fresh. All right, start fresh. This is a fresh sheet on my palette paper. And here we go. So pretty much, all right, I'm going to go over with some of the spots. Make sure that, for example, just his ears. The situation is this, right? When you have the movie was really good. I will give you my favorite highlights. The highlights were that the person who they met was a shallow person at first, you know, and as you're going through it, you saw the importance and the value of pretty much keeping a secret, and also being able to keep things, working together with the whole set of humans, because just, I guess, Yetis in that case. What happened was, what blew my mind was about how they talk about always about leadership and stuff, and usually we are always under the impression the leadership is trying to hide something for us, be it our managers, be it our bosses, be it our politicians, be it our pastors. People who are leadership are always, in a sense, hiding information from people. And in this case, when you got to think, I mean, this might be a spoiler for you, but what happened was, they were managing to keep themselves. Hello, Blake. How are you? Feel free to give me a like. I would appreciate that. What happens is that the thing about, we always think that people are trying to keep secrets from us because they're trying to, and in the case where they say they keep a secret, just try to protect the other person. The ending baffled me for the movie, but I'll give you some of the points that I really appreciated. One was that, when you look at how the Indians and the people, the colonizers and the people who came here, as well as other countries, if you go into another country, the only way for you to actually make anything or to survive is for you to actually, either be a threat or be a powerful person. So at the end of the movie, there comes a point, right? I'll just kind of spoil it. If you don't want to hear this, I'll say it real quick, so those who are listening will hear it, but those who won't. What happens is that it comes a point where either you're going to have to negotiate with the people you're with, and work with them, and you might actually, in a sense, become enslaved by them, right? Or you're going to have to enslave them. And the sad part about that is, this is what the situation was. It's like, either there's no way that giants and humans can live together peacefully. It's a matter of fact, like, when you think about it, there's only, in the movie, there was only about, I was saying, about maybe 200 giants or so, and you have a whole population of humans, and we reproduce pretty quickly. 9 months, you pick another human. Sometimes you get twins, right? But if you have a situation where you have a giant and they take forever to have one kid, there's only 200 species of them, or 200 in a group. Not too long before, it's kind of like it's a limited supply of gene dynamics, right? And they can't really emerge with people because they were huge. These Yeti were huge in the story. They were way bigger, big enough to carry a person in the palm of their hand. They were able to carry a whole person in the palm of their hand. So why am I talking about this? Is because this movie was one of those things where I guess it caught me off guard, because it made me really think about, like, you hope for a happy ending, because when they showed about, like, the human nature, that human nature is that of, we would damage each other. We would seriously damage each other, and we have damaged each other. So if you introduce a whole new race of creatures to us, we will try to take it over. It's like, like, can we be friends with wild wolves? I mean, can a wild wolf be a friend of a human? No, not unless we domesticate it, We keep our distance from it, or we just stay away from it. So it's like, how would you make peace with a giant, hide and seek giant, like, for example, in Bigfoot? If you find out a whole race of people lived, we could hardly live peacefully with bears and animals, you know what I'm saying? So if, for example, you knew a grizzly bear was outside your house, right? Would you let the grizzly bear just be free to walk around and eat your children? Now, if you're sentient, for example, even like chimpanzees and gorillas are pretty sentient. They're pretty good. And the only thing that keeps us from, like, totally wiping out all the whales is because they live in the ocean. But if whales lived on land, like, if the sea octopi or octopuses all left the ocean, and they went up to on land, would we be, would be cool the fact that there's creatures as smart as we are walking around? No, we'd be like how cows are. Cows are very smart. We would eat the cows. We would eat the sheep and you know, some countries they eat the dogs and they eat the cats. But that's beside the point. What happens is that you have the scenario where it's like, you're faced with a situation where either you enslave that which is smarter than you, or you are enslaved by that which is smarter than you. Like, we always have there was a movie called Explorers, and the first thing they did was show how the humans, whenever they saw something that was stronger or scarier than them, they would try to annihilate it, right? So, for example, when Jesus walked the earth, he was smarter than everyone, and he was God in the flesh. And they tried to kill him, and actually they did kill him, but then he rose from the dead. Because what happens that, it says God in the flesh. We humans are very fearful. So when you have this movie, and this movie is all about, trying to make peace between two races, I think it'll be like the Indians, it'll be like everything else. If you find a superior race that has weapons that can shoot, pieces of metal at you, and you can shoot photon lasers at them, the one who shoots photon lasers will have power over the one that shoots, like, One whose photon lasers will have power over those who shoot metal, because the photon doesn't run out. You don't run out of power with photon. You run out of pieces of metal. Eventually, you run out of bullets, and now you have your photon laser beam. The other one is this. You have this scenario where it's like, let me just give him some cool facial features. I'm gonna give him some blue face right here. Let's do that. I'm gonna give him this shiny blue Cody thing right here, right? So he's gonna be cool. I'm gonna give more stuff, more details to him, but for now I'm just gonna give him on his hands and his legs. I'm gonna give him the blue paint. So this is the blue one. I'm almost out of this paint, so definitely if you guys want to help me get some more paint like this, I have to drive all the way out. As a matter of fact, the place I have it, they don't even have this kind of paint anymore. This is the last of it. Once this paint is gone, I don't have any more of this. It was on clearance. This is my FX paint. This is the one that I use. Definitely, throw some money out there in the chat, please, if you can. That'd help me out so tremendously. I'm gonna put him over here. I'm gonna put this right here, and we're gonna go ahead and paint this Yeti's face. And so in the story, right, you have the Yeti is faced with he's faced with made a lot of decisions. He has to make a decision about what he's going to do as an individual, because he is just a young one. He's a young one kind of a thing. He's young himself, trying to make sense. It's like a Smurf, the big blue Smurf. So happy he's young, trying to make sense, and he's happy with his father. The guy, his I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but he's happy with his dad. He's happy with his relationship. He's just happy to be part of the village. And the village is like the movie The Village. That's one, because the way they kept the secrets of everything, it was like the movie The Village. And so with the movie The Village, if you ever seen the movie Village with that was a M Night Shyamalan, which is one of my favorite movies, because I watched the movie with the kids and they absolutely loved it. They have the whole monster. As a matter of fact, I made a sculpture. Yeah, I have it right here. I have a sculpture of those we do not speak of right there. So like see right there, those we do not speak of. Right. I actually made one from the village with the colors of those we don't speak of. The face part, I made it a long time ago, and it was just like when it was what's his name, Adrian Brody's character, you know. And then so I guess I spoiled that movie too. But this is his suit, and his village suit. This is so many years old now. But anyway, so I have to kind of just refurbish this to make it better. But this is one, those we do not speak of. So this movie was very much like the Village movie, those we don't speak of. And so, incidentally, what happens was when you're faced with the situation of like the movie, you are like that. They were trying to keep a secret about the humans away from the Yeti. And so when a human comes into the camp, or accidentally comes near the camp, and this character finds it, it's kind of put in a situation where he's like, he's trying to explain what he saw, and they're like, nah, you couldn't have seen a human because they say humans don't exist, right? So it's like, so they're having this a question saying, well, if humans don't exist, then why would they say humans don't exist? It's kind of like saying, how do you say that something doesn't exist? You'd have to say that it's never was real. We made it up, kind of a thing. But like a Santa Claus kind of situation. But in the case, remember that time I made a Yeti. I made a Yeti for one of my friends. He was going through some situation, and then so what I did was that I actually made a Yeti. I made a Yeti for him, and I delivered it to him. And I have it on my Instagram if you want a chance to see it. But what the thing was, the point was that it was one of those things where I was so glad to do that, so glad to make it for him, and it was great. It was just kind of a pick me up, cheer me up kind of thing, because these things with cool down masking tape is like, unlike clay and everything else that you can make a paper mache. Yes, it takes time, but it also is one of those things where you can actually just do a lot of really cool stuff with it in the meantime, and it's also very versatile. You can make a lot of product in the time it takes you to make one product. So right now I'm just kind of just doing that. So you have his feet. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and paint his feet. Right, and then I'm gonna go back and make sure I get all the stuff too, all the pieces there. You probably wonder, why am I making this? Well, I'm making this because I was really inspired by that movie. The movie made me think about the whole thing regarding, like, when you meet new people, you have a couple things. You can be, that person could be your friend, that person could be your enemy. But they're not your enemy. Usually an enemy comes from friends. You don't have an enemy that's your enemy because they don't know you. You have an enemy of somebody who usually knows you, and they become jealous of you. And that's true. I went through a situation this week that I'll discuss at some point in my life about, but it was um, very painful lesson I learned about when people don't like you, they don't like you to the core, and it's crazy because like if they just liked you a little bit, it would be very helpful. They can actually learn a lot of things, but the way that they don't like you, it's really bad. They really wish you harm, and it's kind of sad learning that that some people wish you harm. So what happens that you might have good intentions and you may have another bad bone in your body. That doesn't mean the person that's that's upset with you has good intentions for you. So that's kind of what the sad part about it all, because I at the end of the day, you're just trying to be a person, just trying to be a person and do different things, and and then take care of your family, and then other people just. So in the story, it's like one of the things I just thought about, just as I'm saying this, it's like sometimes you just gotta do what you can, do what you can and be who you be, because it's like, people aren't going to accept you, or they will accept you, or they won't like you for whatever reason. You can't help that. You just can't help that. And if you can't change something, you have to kind of be aware of it in the other person, but you can't do anything about it. If a person likes you, they like you. If they don't like you, you can't do anything about it. And you really shouldn't try to force someone to like you. Either they're gonna like you or they're not gonna like you. It's like a friend. They say you can't pick friends for your children. You can't do that. As much as you want to, you can't force them to have friends. That's why it's like the whole magic of it all is that when a person chooses someone to marry, it's like sometimes people will like that person, sometimes they won't. But the thing is, you have to know that this person is not only good for you, but good for your life, but also, if it's going to affect your children, definitely you should spend some time on that. But sometimes, you have to know that this person, like for example, in the situation with my wife and I, how we became friends. There was a situation where, we didn't like each other, and I've said this many times. We didn't like each other in a relationship aspect. We liked each other as friends, and we were just was so like platonic. It was just amazing how platonic we were. It was just like, you know, we cared about each other, but like just for the well being of each other. And then we work on the same ministry team together, and that was really cool. I wonder if I just make it, and then maybe just kind of cover his mouth like this. Yeah, that might be cool. All right, like this lip. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, look at that. He said, "Hello, I am Blue Yeti. I am Yeti. I've yet to find out what I am." Okay, but look, I got blue under his neck. See that? Mm-hmm. So, evil Betty. So what happens is I okay. So back to the story now. Oh, back to my wife. The thing. Okay, we didn't like each other, and we were committed to helping each other to grow and to be like friends. And to be friends and to really do what's right in terms of like just be a good friend to each other. And then later we found out somebody else had to point out that we liked each other more than friends, but I didn't know and she didn't know until somebody else did it. Somebody pointed it out to us. And so that was pretty cool, because that means that I didn't force it and other people knew about it, and then we just let things happen. you know and when you let things happen, it works out better. I mean, think about how when people force things to happen, they make things happen, they force it, and then later they have regrets because it wasn't natural, it wasn't organic. There's any one lesson I learned from one of my friends was that very thing. It's like almost as if you find something what you're not looking for, the things you're looking for you can't find. It's like the things you want to get, the things that you want to have with you, are the things that you'll find when you stop looking for them. It's almost like you have to rest in God. You find your rest in the Lord, and then God will open the door for you. So this is kind of the thing. So in this story, there's a number of things I had trouble with. When I first watched the story, there was a time where somebody was talking about like how the stonekeeper's daughter was in charge of the conspiracy theory group. So the guy who kept the stones, the stonekeeper, he was tasked with keeping the law and letting everybody know what they can and cannot do, right? Because like the movie The Village, if the people went back to, or they found out about what was going on, like 'cause we know about the Yeti. We walked in knowing that this is that this is the we are in society and we're watching their world. And as for them, they don't know about our world, or those who knew didn't share that information. So when it comes down to like the elite, we always talk about the situation where the elite knows something and they're trying to keep us away from stuff. So like remember like Men in Black, movie Men in Black. When in Men in Black, they had the whole society of keeping the aliens. Like he says, one human can learn something, but many people are malicious and what do you call it? And they're self-seeking, and you know that because they're talking to Will Smith about the whole thing regarding like humans versus the aliens. And one person can understand. It's like 15 minutes ago, you thought you were alone in the universe, and then they thought all these different things went through the whole scenario of it all. But for the most part, that he just kind of said that you thought and you were absolutely sure of something, and now I just blew your mind, right? So the thing is, like in this world, it came apart where, in the story of Smallfoot, where he was asked, He says, is either they can't be humans because the stone said there isn't. And he says, well, I saw a human and I can't deny what my eyes have seen. And he says, well, are you saying the stones is wrong? And he says, well, if I'm going to believe my eyes, I guess yes, the stone is wrong. And then he got banished for saying that. He got banished for saying the truth. But all along, the elite knew that that was true. There was Smallfoot. There was small. There was a humans humans all over the place, right? And so because there were humans all over the place, there was an aspect where it's like, here you have it. Here you have it where you're faced with a decision, and he chose to go with what he knew. He couldn't deny. He couldn't lie for the sake of, well, and then because of that, he became friends with the outcasts, with the weirdies, with the us flat earthers. He became friends with those because he was just considered an outcast. He couldn't see, or they couldn't see that what they were saying, the general population, because they believed everything that was said about the stone. So it was kind of like a start off like to take on the conspiracy theories things, right? That was one. The next thing was like you have it where you're faced with so he had to go and search it. They had to actually send him out because he saw it, right? It actually happened. There was a plane that crashed, and then there was a guy on a thing, and he saw the foot. He saw the foot. He saw the thing. He couldn't deny it. It's almost like he saw an alien abduction, and an alien goes over the cliff, and then he saw the alien ship there. He was able to touch the ship, able to pick up pieces of the ship, able to see more stuff, and it was just like, all right, I've seen, I've touched, I've handled, I partook, I know it's real. Like they talked about in the scripture, how those the word of God was written to just show that not only have they read about you or they knew about him, they actually were able to hold him and to hug him and to talk to him. So they beheld him, and he says, you know what? These things were proven in the word, like right. So unlike the scriptures, that this story was talking about like how the the elite knew what was right and they kept it away from the population. And the reason for that was for their safety. The reason for their safety was because they had gone through all these scenarios where the people the people had what's the word? The what happened was that the I had such a good transition. I thought about the car in the shop for a second there. What happened was the people who were protecting the truth knew the other side. They knew what was the situation. They knew what they were up against. And so because they knew what they were up against, they were able to tell the truth convincingly, and they concocted a whole new lie, a whole new scenario, so that people who were listening, those who were listening to listen to the elders, would only know the truth. Like the movie The Village, again, like the movie The Village, right? They created monsters so the people would stay inside the village. The monsters, those we do not speak of, right? Those we don't speak of, right? They created the monsters for that. So the same thing, this movie Smallfoot had the same kind of concept where they had created the monsters for the Yeti, and how they did it was that they said the curiosity killed the yak. Curiosity killed the yak. It's like curiosity killed the cat, curiosity killed the yak, right? And so with that, what ended up happening is like when they stopped, had to go down there and find out about the thing because he got banished from the village because he took a stance. He said, I cannot deny what I've seen. I cannot deny what that, so I got to go find me a person. So he in a sense had to go find a person and bring a person back up to the top of the mountain. He had to go find a little person and bring them back up to the mountain. So this Yeti, I'm gonna put it this way, this Yeti had to go and find a person and bring him back. This guy's got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. So that's the thing. So the elders were keeping him away and the elders were huge. These people were huge, right? And so what happened, the elders were saying about like how if they go back to the thing and they find the people, they're gonna bring back trouble up the mountain. But he didn't even say that because he said there was no humans whatsoever. So he tried to dismiss it as saying the humans were just some kind of a yak, some kind of a yak like a. Here I have a yak up here. It's not a yak, but it's a. I can pick this up in forever. Yeah, so they're saying that it was just like a little yak. So here it is, like a little yak that, a little bull. So they're saying, well, this is a bull, but bull is like a yak too. So there's a type of small yak, and this is the scenario. So they're saying that that's what it was, when in fact that you're trying to dismiss the thing. So they made up a whole fabrication. They said there's no such thing as humans, right? So when the guy saw a small foot, the small foot just kind of freaked him out. He said, I know what I've been told, but here's the situation and here's the truth. So he had to go and descend from the mountain to go and get a small foot. He had to get down off the mountain all the way down and go find himself a person to bring back up so that they can prove that he's the thing. So he goes all the way down. So, okay, I'm back. So what happens is like, he had to go and find the human being and bring him back up to the mountain. And when he went up to the mountain, it's pretty much to it's a long story after that, but ultimately he had a decision to make, because when you have the truth, you have two decisions to make. Either you can deny the truth or you can accept the truth, right? If you deny the truth, there's a ramification that happens. There's other people who are going to be affected by it if you deny it. If you accept the truth, there's also people who are going to be affected by it, because if, for example, your whole thing is built upon laws, tons and tons of laws, right? And then all of a sudden you are told by the people that all this stuff is not true. All of it's not true, right? You're now in a situation where you went and found out that it is true. What are you going to do? Are you going to upheal society? Are you going to undo society just to prove your point? That's kind of the lesson there in the story that was amazing. Is he going to go ahead and upheaval the entire society, that there is humans and that he is not alone and that they are, you know, they're sentient beings, and they, stories about that Smallfoot, like we talked about Bigfoot. Now, in our case, we have the whole Bigfoot thing. I'm not gonna use this one here. I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna use the thing. I'm gonna put this on top. I'll put this one on top. So I'm gonna use go ahead and do the seal. Okay, you have seal on you already? I don't think you have seal. Okay, I'm gonna put seal on this one and seal on this one. So we're gonna do that too. So if you know that there are creatures out there, bizarre creatures that do not, that do not aspire to our our solar system, or to our sciences, for example, like trying to make a treaty with octopus or something. The octopus, our octopus gardens, all of the octopus out there, they're so smart that they have their own society, right? And then we introduced them. We didn't even know that there's giant octopus, right? They say that there's several species of octopi that are out there that nobody knows about, right? And so what happens is that as we're going through life, we find out about those octopus, right? And with them, there's giant ones, even bigger than the most colossal squid that we found, colossal octopus, and then the giant, Pacific octopus that are super huge. Different kinds, there's giant squids and all kind of stuff. I learned about that today, and I was saying about like how the different creatures that we are faced with and that we're informed about, they are just a tiny fraction of the 95% of the undiscovered ocean that we live in. So imagine there's a whole society, like for example, the movie The Abyss, right? Yeah, the movie The Abyss. They had it where, in the movie Abyss, there was underwater aliens living just happily under the thing. They call it underwater, the USOs, UAOs, or I forget what they call it, but it's like pretty much it's kind of a thing where the underwater creatures that live underwater, and that we don't know about, that we can't know about. Like there's a whole video game called a Deadly Tide, right? It was in Windows 1995, Deadly Tide. And in that movie, you had a thing where you had a ship, and your ship was like a ship you had to solve. It was very beautiful. I love that game. The colors and the imagery of that game, it plays in my mind a lot when I make my creatures, my sea creatures and stuff. I make a lot of stuff, and I think about that movie, the video game Deadly Tide, where you have to kind of be underwater, and you have to deal with the fish monsters and the underwater aliens and stuff. Because what happens, they land in the ocean, they start wanting to flood the oceans and stuff. So cool. Such a cool concept. So they had it where they came from space and they go right into the ocean. And they're like, what? And the people can't reach them, They can't reach them with anything. So just like that Pacific Rim, same kind of idea. You have the creatures that live that come from the rift. And so you can go down to the bottom of the ocean, the bottom of the sea, and you could be down there, and when the kaijus come up, you fight them. But for the most part, though, what happens is that they appear up, they pop up, and they start bringing havoc and more havoc to the world, And then when they did part two, they had to retcon it and find out that they're all heading to Mount Fuji to blow up the whole world, do a chain reaction, and terraform the world into ready for the precursors. Anyway, long story short, what happens is you're faced with these things. Again, please feel free to give me a thumbs up in the chat. I would really appreciate that. You guys give me thumbs up, because thumbs up really helped me and helped my channel to grow. I might do another video tomorrow, but I just wanted to do the Sculpt and Chat with you guys. But for the most part, though, I'm going to be doing the delivery tomorrow, so I just want to make sure this is all ready for delivery. And so this is cool. When it's all done, it's going to be nice and shiny. It's all nice and shiny. This adds weight to the masking tape, by the way. This adds weight. I have some more things I have to do. I might do that on my members channel, but I have stories to tell you guys and things about what happened with my life, but I can't discuss that right now. For the most part, though, you have it where, just had a nice day at work, and it's really cool. Got a chance to see some of my cool coworkers that helped me out with some stuff, and I just really glad to just be able to do that, be able to spend some time and potential more commissions. I have this other frame. Yeah, put it in frame. This is what I'm doing. So I'm actually just painting and the situation here. So making sure that it's all good and sealed, because the last thing you want to have happen is for everything to come apart. I mean, it's not going to come apart, the masking tape, because masking tape acts like a skin, but you want to seal the skin so the skin itself doesn't come apart. It's like a lizard skin. You're trying to make lizard skin right here, you know, and just going through some stuff. But here we're going to give this a nice coat of paint and then seal that up. Usually I do the belly first. I do the belly and the underside, and it's one of those things where I didn't do the belly and underside first, but when it seals up, it's gonna be nice and shiny, or at least matte shiny, but it'll be sealed. So yeah, so I use a combination of Mod Podge and a combination of water, because if you put it too much Mod Podge, it becomes sharp. So you have to use a couple of like things where I can't tell you the details. I'm telling you trade secrets here. All right, so I guess you got to figure out on your own how you're gonna do it, But just know that the Mod Podge is, it's not just straight Mod Podge, because you can't just have straight Mod Podge. All right, you'll find out if you do it. So that's one of the things. This here is a creature. Oh, no one's listening. All right, cool. So yeah, so what happens? I do a little tip of some water with the Mod Podge, and it causes it to stretch. Now you know. Now you know my secret. All right, so this one here. Okay, back to the Smallfoot movie. Um, what happens with the Smallfoot movie? You have it where, again, he's faced with a decision. What are you going to do with the truth? Are you going to go ahead and just, upheaval society? Are you going to go ahead and start, like, just saying all kind of whatevers and not think about the consequences? Because, you think about it, the reason why they're doing what they're doing every day is to conceal their identity. Protect them from damage, protect them from harm from the humans, because they've had run-in with humans before. And then what they did, the best thing they could do is to just make sure people don't think about it anymore. So it's almost like hiding history. They went to the whole procedure of hiding the bad history so people remember the good history. So in a sense, they're making people forcefully on purposely ignorant. Now, there's something definitely wrong about that. Making people ignorant for no reason, or making people ignorant on purpose for the sake of trying to keep something from happening. Because when something does happen, like in the situation here, it's like truth finds a way. It's almost like this in a Jurassic Park. You talked about like how life finds a way. So I'm gonna spoil the end of the movie for you if you're watching. If you watch the movie of the Smallfoot, it goes like this, right? There's a part where in the end of it, they decide to tell everybody the truth, right? He brings the Smallfoot up, and Smallfoot really impacts the people, and they can't deny what they've seen. They've all seen it, but he said that, what, if you just say that it's not, we can go back to society, and society is normal, and we continue to live our life, or we can go ahead and just know the truth, right? And us knowing the truth is going to change the way we see things. It's going to change our entire society. And what he decided to do, they decided to go down from the mountain and go to meet the humans and introduce themselves to humans, like a whole colony, the whole alien race of Yeti, leave the mountain to go down to see the humans. To which my wife and I, we were sat there smiling and happy at first. We started thinking, that's kind of a very dangerous thing. It goes back to that thing where, again, you have people who are successful and able to kill. They had helicopters and things like that. They have all these different weaponry. They have nuke bombs. They have bombs, missiles. They have poison gas, all kind of stuff they can do. Right? The Yeti are meeting them for the first time, coming with camaraderie. Coming with camaraderie, trying to say, listen, humans, I want to kind of bless you with with our wisdom and what we know, and to help mankind with, like, help you build houses and whatever. With a piece of the table, kind of like the whole thing with the AI. When the AI and the people finally sit down and have a conversation, it's going to be one's going to have to enslave the other. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. It's like, it's like we are either, like, for example, people talk about like the deers and stuff, the deer and the animals running free. Like I was thinking about like how I had this thought, and that's why I stopped liking elephants. Right? Even though I make elephants, I stopped liking elephants for this very reason. And the reason is because elephants are really cool, but they're very powerful. See, elephants are one of the most powerful creatures on the earth. Land animals. Actually, I think they're the biggest land animal. Well, not biggest, but maybe the heaviest. Because I mean, they got giraffes and stuff. But for the most part, they're the heaviest mammal, and they are, I guess, considered the biggest. But you never know. Anyway, so for the most part, what happens is when you meet an elephant is smart. As smart as we are. It can remember stuff and hold a grudge. And the thing is, people are not strong as elephants. I mean, it's like the same kind of idea. You run into a person and you can negotiate and talk with a person. I worked with cows when I was on a dairy farm, and cows are super strong. They're stronger than us. They're very strong. They have all muscle. They're born with all muscle. It's like a baby orangutan, baby chimpanzee, a baby anything in the animal range is stronger or pretty strong when they're born. They're not like they come out weak and stuff like that. They come out strong, ready to go live. We can't even lift up our heads. We are useless, but we're like the most dangerous creature because we have the brain created in the image of God. God's given us so much because we are made in His image. So we have the creativity of the Most High. We can make anything. We can do anything, right? Just about. And the thing is, like, only keeps us from totally destroying ourselves is moral. There's the morality that God's given to us, the Ten Commandments, our conscience. See how nature runs, wisdom. Things to safeguard us, right? Now, if we were to totally let that go, some people say you should totally let it go, and I'm like, I don't think that's a great idea because if you totally abandon all of your ability to control yourself, and to say no to your desires at sometimes, because sometimes you have to say no to desires. You just allow stupid thoughts to kind of run in your head. And sometimes that's what the Bible talks about. There's the world, the flesh, and the devil, right? So you have the world, the flesh, and the devil. You have the world itself trying to tell you how you should live, what you should do, in a sense, how you should deny God, right? Then you have the flesh. The flesh is like, oh, just give in to my desire. Oh, you want to eat another piece of chocolate cake? Just have another piece of chocolate cake. Doesn't worry about the consequences. It's okay. You'll burn off later. 40 pounds later, heavier. Your heart's not working properly. You can't hardly breathe walking up a flight of stairs. That kind of thing. That kind of thing. This is the scenario where you are faced. Oh goodness. You are faced with a problem, and the problem is that you are not able to to do something because your body has not worked against you. And the other one is the entity of the demonic entity, the world of flesh and the devil, right? The Bible calls the devil the accuser of the brethren. It calls him like a type of thing where it goes into the to deceive. And the whole purpose of the devil is to deny the power of God. So you have the world of flesh and the devil, and he always uses these three tactics. He uses the lust of the eyes, which is the stuff that we see, we want it. The lust of the flesh, things for our body, we have to have it, to either for clothes or for food or whatever, arraignment, things like that. Just the prestigious, nice looking thing, having a BMW. Not saying a BMW is the thing. That's just saying like you can have a regular car. Like if you need to get a car utilitarian purposes, you go get yourself a regular car. You get yourself to there back and forth. Like we have a car. Our car is not for design. A car is for utility. So we get a car, we fix the car, we make the car operational. We go on family trips with it. We drive it till the wheels fall off, literally. So that's us with cars. But some people consider a car as a status, the lust of the flesh. You know. Then you have the pride of life, which is more like that. The pride of life too, as well. It's like desiring things, that God says no to, or something that it'll come to you in time. And so many people, what they do is give into their temptation, and they go after things. They go after the people. They go after the strange woman, or the bizarre person, or the strange man, and they go after that. And what happens? They go for the bad boy, and then the bad boy becomes their situation. So anyway, so when they do that, they open up themselves to a lot of bad scenarios and situations there. My point, what I'm saying is this, right? You have it where it's the last one is the pride of life, which is pretty much trying to be the chief in life, the best in life, because there was a movie called the Prince of Egypt, and he was like, he's all I ever wanted, and he had all the stuff in the song. They said about that, all he ever wanted, and he had everything, but then he realized that he's not like anything. Once you find out that you are a certain kind of thing, you have to do that certain kind of thing. If you're made in the image of God, that means everything you do has to reflect the Most High. Right? I'm not done yet. I had to do this guy. Everything you do has to reflect the awesomeness and the glory and the majesty of the Most High. Right? Because what happens is if you don't do that, right? What ends up happening? I'm going to put you over here. Put you right here. Red paint. Oh, I got to cover up the red paint real quick. Let me just put you here. I'm going to put you back right here. I'm going to put you back over here. Okay, cover the red paint so that the paint doesn't stick to the feet, because all right, so there's that. I'll cover the red paint and the blue paint. I said the blue paint back. Yes, good. Red paint, covering red paint. Let's go. Trusty Dusty. Okay, right there, red paint. So get the red in his foot. Just a little bit of red in his foot. Okay, good. I'm gonna put you over here. I'm gonna put you in center screen. Let's go. Center screen. So now we have my cryptids. These are my cryptids, by the way. You have the chupacabra, and you have the six-legged basilisk type, hammerhead salamander. He's like, hey. And then you have that one. And this is my Yeti in the back, as you can see. Not to mention my gremlin, which is a Greglin, because a Greglin has 4 fingers. And he's like, hello, I'm a Greglin, everyone. And his name is Firebelly. Firebelly Greglin with green eyes. Hi, green eyes. I should put like green little tint on you or something. You know what I'll do? I'm going to make you glow in a dark green. That's what I'm going to do. So then your eyes match. I'll do that. Okay, so. All right, so in the meantime, put you over here. Boom. Now, for your coat of paint, your coat of arms. All right, so here's this. You seen? Okay, good. This one here, I love this thing right here. I just love the making stuff. You know, definitely, if you're in the chat, let me know what kind of creature I should make, because I can make some creatures tomorrow. I can do that, but just let me know which ones I should make. Oh, dag. Okay. Let me know which ones I can make, because I can sculpt anything, right? So give me a couple of ideas, and that would be so cool. I would just love to do that, because I'm just going to seal him up very quick. Put some paint on all his body. That way this seals him up so he doesn't like come apart. Well, he's not going to come apart, but just that, you know, he wouldn't come apart anyway, but just this is the extra thing to protect the skin from and also the painting from further injury. Yes, this is going to be cool. We have to get the car. If we don't get the car by today, it's going to be, we won't be able to test drive it. And right now it's 4 o'clock. And so, I don't know. Let's see how that works out. But for the most part, though, hopefully I can get a notification. Hopefully my wife can tell me what's up, or you know, the car is ready, you know, and that we can go get it. But also, I gotta go take a nap. I've had a long day. I work early mornings, so I come home and I have no energy. And sometimes I have no energy to do anything. But today I have some unusual energy. I guess because daylight savings time, you know. Yay, daylight savings time, you know. Everybody who loves daylight savings time. That was a wonderful little blessing, was it not? Get more sunlight. Yes, yes, we do. Only problem is that, you know, your day's you start a little bit earlier. I was there watching the time as it flipped over. It went from 1:59 to 3 o'clock. And that was an amazing sight to see. So, daylight savings time was great. I thought that was cool to watch that happen. Once in a lifetime. I'd never seen that before. And that just blessed my heart, let me tell you. So, just watch that time, because I was saying, I made a video. I said, where did the time go? Where did the time go? All right, so here we go here. Here we go here. Okay, and that side too. Make sure you get all the sides. I'm going to give you a coat of green to glow in the dark with. But right now, you're still reflective to the UV light. So if I shine UV light on you, which you can't see because of daytime, but if you shine at nighttime, it'll reflect. The one I like too, when I put like a little bit of glow in the dark paint, so you have the UV light to reflect, and then UV light, glow in the dark light to keep it glowing. This is what I find about this: the glow in the dark paint. It's like, I don't know if it's radiation or something, but whatever it is, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool like setup, the way to make it. So it just emits light, and it just, I don't know, it emits light. So I don't know, it just absorbs it, I guess, and then emits it. So if that's the case, I mean, like maybe if the moon is like that, you know, it absorbs the light and then emits it, you know, it was just charging all day. Because I mean, like, if you watch the moon, you can actually watch a phase happening, you know, the phase is happening, it's moving into position and it moves into that phase. It's pretty cool. It's just a really pretty cool thing, the whole phase of the moon thing. Yeah, we flat earthers have a world of a time just trying to explain the phase of the moon. So, but I think the phase of the moon is what it makes it what it is. It's like the moon has phases and the sun has phases. There's a solar eclipse coming up. When is there? I think it's tonight or something, or a lunar eclipse. I can't remember. There's one. There's a lunar eclipse usually on a full moon. But I guess we'll find. I gotta look at. There's somebody. Any guys know in the chat when is the next lunar eclipse? Because you know, hey chat, do you know what time the next lunar eclipse is? Because I don't remember. So here's this guy here. He's all ready. He's all ready for the big show. Okay, so I'm gonna seal it up right there. I'm gonna do him next. All right, so I'm gonna put him over here. Put him over here. I'm not doing him yet because I want to add some fur to him. He needs some fur to be properly, what do you call it? What's that word? To be a proper Yeti. So right now he's not a proper Yeti. He's just kind of improper. He's kind of like, you know, just skin and bones, you know. So what we're gonna do is this guy here. Let's give him some seal. But first, before I do, I have to give him some more black paint. So Okay, got black paint there on the tail. Got to give him black paint on the tail. Got to give him black paint on his arms. So I'm gonna put you like this. I'm gonna paint your face a little bit better, Pally. Move this over some. Okay, this one here. I think that's so you're gonna lean against that one. I don't want you guys sticking to each other. Okay, so this one is here, black paint. This one I'm gonna put you over here on the chair, out of the way. All right, so you're out of the way. I'm gonna put you down so you're not falling, causing, disaster. I'm gonna put you up here, so at least you're leaning on something. And black paint. Now I'm gonna seal up the thing because it said never leave a can of paint open unless you want a can of paint to be open on the floor. So do that real quick. We'll put this out of the way. Put it out of the way. So that's out of the way. Okay. All right. So you have that. Have this here. Feel free to talk to me in the chat again. I would love to dialogue with any of you, so please tell me something in the chat. Just like that. Okay. So here we go. This is okay. Well, this one is here, this one's here, this one, okay, this one. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put some black paint. Gonna go ahead and fill up all the spots that I missed with the black paint. Make sure I get every crack. A friend of mine said, oh, I gotta give her a call, my word. What happened was, like, a friend of mine had a birthday party and I missed it. I missed the birthday party. We've been busy with so many things. Weekends are just so tough for us. It's like just so tough. Everything, all of it's just so tough. You see that? Okay, so I'm just kind of making sure I get all the details there, so there's none. You see, when a friend of mine who's told it said you have to bend your structure so that the structure can get all the parts that you're thinking. So when you bend it, it bends and it's completely there. But my friend was a puppet maker, and I'm just so into this whole puppet making thing. I absolutely love it. I think puppet making is the greatest thing. All right, so I'm just gonna make that because like at first I was like, wow, I don't know. You know how it is. Because sometimes new things bother me because not because I don't like new things, it's just because I'm so used to the old things. Who isn't, right? But when you make a new thing, you have to kind of take that in, and it's like Batman, right? In a situation, he has all his tools, right? So if you add another tool to Batman, you have to kind of like always keep it there. If he has the Batman shark repellent, you kind of have to keep that in case of the thing. They have the ice skates, like they had in the ice skates. You have that where, or that was Batman Robin. Yeah, and Batman Robin. They had the thing where it's like he had the ice skates, and the ice skates was what you call it, in the bottom of his shoes when he just click his heels. We were like, what? And the kids just loved that. That was so funny. And it was like cheesy, they're all yelling cheesy, kind of thing like that when they saw that because who didn't yell cheesy? That was just like the campy movie back in the day, you know, and it's one of those things. So for the most part, though, you have it where it's like that. So once you introduce a new subject, you have to kind of keep that subject with you. So you have to kind of factor it into your repertoire. It's not just a matter of just like, okay, it's a one-off. It's like, no, this might be the thing. Like, for example, like if you can do time travel, you can do time travel every single time. There's no need to even stop doing it. You just keep working on it. But or else if you're super speed, you can do all kind of super speed stuff. You can do all kind of things with that. So that's the thing. So here you have it. Where once you introduce something new, it's like what's the point of going back to the old stuff? That's the kind of thing too. So once you enter new information, like in Smallfoot, once you have that situation going on, why would you go back to the way it was? So that when the people got introduced to the new thing about humans, they wanted to go see a human for themselves. They wanted to not only see one, but they wanted to see human society. They wanted to study humans and how it is. So maybe that's all the time the whole thing with Bigfoot, right? Bigfoot has been the thing where people want to go ahead and see him, and he wants to actually see us too. If Bigfoot is real, I don't know. There's been so many sightings of Bigfoot. But my favorite is Loch Ness Monster. You know this. I'm a Loch Ness Monster dragon enthusiast. And I believe I did a paper in high school about Loch Ness and about different sea creatures and about the sightings of sea creatures and sea monsters and dragons all throughout society. That was one of my things I did, and I absolutely loved it. If I tell you, this is why a lot of my stuff. At first, it was like I can make any animal and creatures, but some of these things are just like the Hotel Transylvania stuff. I love it. Hotel Transylvania was my favorite because part three, because the whole Gremlin Air thing. I just absolutely loved it. I did. And so here's this guy here. I just painted him over, making sure there's less. Oh, there it goes. Making sure there's less spots that are not touched or that are open. You can see the white underbelly, right? Just kind of making sure this is a little black one, little black gremlin, and his name is Firebelly Greglin because he looks like a Firebelly salamander. Right? So here's him. Here's a Firebelly lizard because I didn't make a Firebelly salamander, just actually a Firebelly lizard. And yeah, pretty much that's kind of it. All right, so we have that. You have that. That one's painted. That one's painted. That one's painted. I kept my word to that. I'm gonna show you a little bit of the of one of the puppets I'm working on. This is one of the puppets I was working on, and maybe you guys won't see it, but this is a puppet that I have been working on, and she's like pretty cool. So you have that, and so here's that the thing part of it. So you have like a puppet. Give me one last dance before I hit the ground. So this is my puppets that I made, and so pretty much I'm going to show you more about that later on one of my channels. So yes, so that's my channel. Definitely feel free to sign up to my channel because that's how I get money. Okay, so I get money through your super chats, I get money through your watches, but definitely I get money when you get guys drop like $5 in the chat. So anyway, I have another one I got to paint. This one is actually a present for someone, and that present more like it's a commission piece, and this is one of the commission piece. This is a humanoid. So no one's watching. So this is a humanoid. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and give her paint her hair. I've been meaning to do this for some time, so I'm just gonna do this because I have to ship her out. So this is a very beautiful piece that I've worked on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Mod Podge on it. So here's the Mod Podge, and I'm gonna move him back. I'm gonna put some seal on him when he dries. But in the meantime, though, here is the Mod Podge. I'm gonna open that up. Right, and so you have that, and oh goodness, let's see this. This one. No, let's try this one. Okay, let's try this one. One last dance before I hit the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one here is an art piece one. Pretty much is a really beautiful one. It's a nice doll that I made. I can't really share too much details, but this one I'm gonna see if I can mail it out soon. I'm gonna bring it to my job and put her into the flames so she can actually be. Well, I don't know. I don't like putting people in flames. It's just something different about that. You can put animals and creatures and stuff. It looks really cool, Diplocali. But when you start putting people into flames, that's just it's too hellish. It's just too hellish. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and paint her hair so it stays down. Right? Just gotta, gotta paint it so it stays down because it's like I want it just to be sealed. It's not gonna stay down, but it's just gonna be like where it stays. I make people. In masking tape. So if you ever want me to make something for you, just let me know. Please let me know in the chat, as well as I'm working on one for a friend of mine who I totally admire, and I haven't. I have the plan in my head. It just had a matter of just getting it onto paper. That's something there, and yes, this is the situation there. So what happens is that we are at 58. I have to kind of do it the other way too. That way, it's like you kind of get the hair that way and the hair that way. And then you have to, I just gonna have to rest it down for a second. Just kind of do it like this. Give me one last. I hope I don't mess it up with the black. Of course you're gonna mess it up with the black, right? There you go. Yep, of course. You need to go do it. Get it clear. Get it clear. Get it clear. Get it clear. Get the hair clear. Get the hair clear of the black. All right, so there's that. Okay, it's gonna dark. Oh, it darkens it better, which is something I've been meaning to do too. All right, so there's that. All right, so that one's there. There's right there. Yeah, so you're wondering about this one. This one's actually like a full like Barbie doll. Like what happened was I had a friend of mine, and I'm making it for them. I'm not sure if they're watching this right now, and so the thing is like maybe I'll show them the video later. They can watch it, but for some reason though, it's like one of those things where it's like like I was saying before, you have this thing. You have this thing where the movie touched on a subject of what's gonna happen next to the Yeti. The Yeti are gonna have to fight and wage war against all of mankind to either enslave mankind or work together with mankind, and it's kind of like a peace through strength kind of thing. You can't just be cool and just stand there and hope everything's gonna turn out well. No, someone's gonna shoot at you. It's kind of like, when people don't understand something, they have to attack it. When they don't know something, they have to kind of make fun of it. When they have to kind of find out where their parameters is. It's like every single movement in life has always been that way. There's always been the aspect of when they don't know something, they have to punish punish it or destroy it or do some kind of something to it that's just, you're not really sure what to do, because at the end of the day, people get scared. Gonna paint his belly now. People get scared, and because they get scared, they act scared. But that's where it comes down to. I mean, that's why it's like, an angel coming to earth, right, and talking to us. God has to direct that, because they say whenever we meet something more powerful than us, we are scared. When I see an elephant for the first time, at first I used to like elephants, but I realized elephants are really more powerful and that you can't like negotiate with them. The people who trained elephants, they had to train them with pain. You understand? They didn't train them with like kindness and feed them apples and stuff. No, they were like, you have to beat you into submission to follow and help me and do what I want you to do. Because if you just try and negotiate, talk to an elephant, talk to an octopus or something. You have to give it some kind of parameter that it can actually understand that, you cross the line, you're gonna feel something, like Jurassic Park. The dinosaurs, once they cross the electric fence, they're gonna feel a little something in their body, right? And that little something is gonna be 10,000 volts, right? And the 10,000 volts are gonna shock some sense into them, because you can't just negotiate with a dinosaur and be like, okay, dinosaur, you see everything okay? And even like animal training too, you got to reinforce good behavior, and you punish them with like kids, sometimes kids too, no, you got to punish the kids, but you have to kind of correct the kids and give them correction, because they don't know. But for example, and they're powerful entity. Kids are powerful. Humans are very powerful, and they are very scary when they don't comply. Like, for example, you have someone who is on the spectrum, right? They happen to be very strong people, very, very strong people when it comes to their abilities and strength. And if they don't like you, there's really nothing much you can. It's like you make a robot or something, or you make some kind of thing where the person is very strong and they can really overpower you. Like the thing with the cow I was saying before about the cows. Cows are very strong creatures. Water buffalo are very strong creatures. When I talk about strong, they have strength in them innately that makes them like can overbear and overpower you easy. You can get stampeded. One can really crush you. 10 of them can really stampede you. You can have a really bad day. Really, really bad day, just by, being in the wrong place. The cows get mad at you. And I had that happen, but I didn't get crushed, praise God, but I did get crushed one time, but it was like not completely. I was able to outsmart the cow before he finished the crushing. So that's kind of the thing there. You always have to be able to outsmart the thing. So if you encounter with a smart, sentient thing that has its own civilization, like a gorilla or something, it's going to take you years to kind of infiltrate their society, to learn about who they are, learn about what they can do, and then have to be able to, not only learn about them, but you have to, try and get them to agree to what your terms are, which means like, like for example, we people, right? We have this thing where countries, as much as we think countries are great and everything like that, countries will not just let you into your country if you want to come in. No, 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 no. Most countries, you will get shot. You have to go into the proper channels, and you have to wave all kind of like treaties and all kind of banners that be like, no, 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 I'm here. Here's my paperwork that says I can be here, kind of thing. Otherwise, they go, pew, 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 pew. You get like pew, pew on sight. But so now here in America is kind of different. But for the most part, though, other countries, you have that scenario there. So okay, so what I've done, I've actually completed my task, which I said I was going to do. One task was to get these guys ready here, get him ready. One, I got to put some right here so it doesn't bleed onto the thing again. All right, so this is like where I'm at. So this is here. It's completed here with this one. This one here, he's gonna dry. When he dries, he's gonna dry beautifully. This one here is also gonna dry. This is my triple copper. This is my table of cryptids right here. Those we do not speak of. And talking about the whole scenario about the different things. We finished here, which I wanted to do. And in the back you have the Yeti. The Yeti is back there. So hi and Yeti to you. Right, so that's one there. So these are all the different ones I wanted to work on. Let me show you Deli, because Deli is kind of like my favorite to show. Hello Deli. This is Deli. Deli. Oh, this is what I was making last week, Little Froggy. I had my other cryptid. But here's Deli. And Deli's like, hey, what's up? So he had the Deli and he's just with his tongue. That's Deli right there. He flies a flying car, and you see him sometimes in my videos. Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys was that. I want to show you guys some of the cool stuff we were working on. It also talked about Smallfoot and how in the movie Smallfoot there was an aspect where the Yeti came down to talk to the people, and when the first time they did that, they got really slaughtered. But in this scenario, they came down because it was a new generation, a new age. And there is a lovely thing. If you're gonna see the movie Smallfoot, you have to get the DVD release because they have the thing where they sing a song, and it's like love in like 28 languages, and it's all the languages all around the earth, and people are singing, and it was great. It was so like Tower of Babel kind of thing. So I was actually saying to my wife and kids about this thing here. Let me switch back to my other camera. I'm gonna switch back over there. I'm gonna switch it back real quick. So I'm gonna carry it and put this down. All right, so right there. So this is the tape stuff. These are all tape creatures, right? All ready for departure. I'm just waiting for the stuff to kind of seal it. But okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this side down real quick, right? And I'm gonna work on this Yeti. So I'm gonna kind of put the camera up to the Yeti right here. Camera up to the Yeti, and I'm gonna go over to this green screen here, which is where my green screen is. Then I'm gonna go ahead and reposition this, which is I'm gonna have to put this down for a second, and then I'm gonna have to cover it up. And here am I again. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but a couple things I just wanted to say real quick. Again, here's a picture of Bigfoot, right? So you got Bigfoot, hide and seek champion. Here is a Yeti. I painted his face. I'm gonna give him some more like little Yeti things, like like fur. I could do this with like a yarn, but I just want to keep it masking tape because that's what I do. So Bigfoot, he's the world champion, hide and seek champion. Right, and here am I sitting down. Gonna go talk with you real quick about this stuff. So for the most part, though, you have it where this masking tape becomes this creature, and I have a shirt. And long story short, what happened was like it was just one of those things where I really like this. People we were saying about like here it is, like the Bible talks about. There's a book called the Book of Enoch, and it says about how there's the Watchers, and they'll talk about creatures called Nephilim, and the Nephilim are like the giants, right? The big old giants that were like half angel, half human, right? And that's what made the Yeti, because something, everybody has to come from somewhere, right? If it's not made by God, then it's made by something else. So these were the made by something else things, the Nephilim, and they were like they lived on the mountain, and what they did would eat everything. So the Nephilim, right? They would come down from they were actually giants, big giants, and that's what the half angel, half human. And so the Bible talks about that. It talked about the angels who went and made bibis with humans. So anyway, so when they made the bibis, these are the bibis. And then they also made experimentation. So they have all kind of creatures that are probably still around today, maybe like mosquitoes, who are made to pester mankind because they just can't die. And the cockroach, who knows? Anyway, so for the most part, I just wanted to say thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, because I also believe that Bible talks about dinosaurs, and also there's creatures that are giants. So there was also, Goliath was like a giant. He was part of the Amalek. The Goliath, yeah. Then they talked about the Amalek and the giants and the half angels, and they said about anyway. It's a long story, but long story. There's a part where when they come down the mountain, I started thinking, and what if it's one of those things where it's like here the space elite are coming down to meet the people. And when they come to meet the people, it's kind of like the Close Encounter of the Third Kind kind of thing. This movie was really fun. If you get a chance to watch Smallfoot, please do. That movie was a great movie. I recommend it. Watching it with all the special features. We watched it on Blu-ray. Probably just even more like special features. But for the most part, though, that was really cool for us. So I'm gonna add more details to him, and just want to say thank you so much for watching my channel today. I wish you all the best, and God bless you. And yeah, just let you know how things go. I'll tell you more about more stuff later. And thank you again for watching. So peace. All right, thank you. I said bye.